Hello and welcome to another exciting Breakfast with Unity. I'm your host, Max Moreau, and we're going to be making an interactive, a automatic door using triggers in this episode. I'm actually kind of surprised I hadn't covered this yet in Breakfast with Unity, so apologies that we didn't go over trigger stuff. We might have touched on a couple of the episodes, but I think this is a really nice basic case that we should definitely have done, which I don't think we did. So I'm going to create first a little place for us to run around. We're just going to create a what are we going to create? We're going to create a plane. I'm going to move it so we can see it. We can put it at 0, 0, 0. I'm going to drag in our standard assets, character controllers, first person controller. We're going to get rid of the main camera that's already in there. Delete, right click and delete. And this already says main camera, so that's cool. We'll put him somewhere in the middle. Wait, what happened to the plane? Oops. Didn't want to move that. I wanted to move this. I was just making it so this camera was as feet, which we don't want. And let's go ahead and create a light, directional light. Let's make the plane bigger so we have some room to move around. And let's create a couple of walls. Create a 3D object cube. You can do all this with cubes. So let's move this over here. Let's make it like, I don't know, 3 feet tall. So we can put it at 1.5 here. And let's make it something across. What should we put it as for across? Let's make it just wider. We're just going to try and illustrate a door opening here. So we're going to set 10, and let's put at negative 9. No, negative 7. Yeah, let's do that. And then let's duplicate it. So we're just going to click the cube, hit duplicate, Command D or Control D if you're on Windows. We'll put this one at 7 as well. We'll make a nice wide doorway. And this will represent a series of walls that we're going to put a door between that will open automatically when we get near it. So there we go. We can move, but we have no door. It's an extra wide door. I'm going to actually narrow that down just a little bit. Let's just make this at 6, and this one at 6. That's too narrow. 6.5. 6.5. Whoops. Wrong place. 6.5. There we go. There, that looks like a respectable door opening. Maybe a little tight, but I'm going to keep it. So now we need our door. So our door is going to be equally similar to our cubes. So I'm going to just rename these real quick. Wall 1 and Wall 2. And we're going to create another cube. We're going to make this one, make it a little bit thinner. So we're going to do Z is 0.5. And we're going to put it at, where are these things at? 1.5, 7.7, so 7.7 there. And we're going to make it 3 wide and 3 tall. 3 wide is probably too wide, but you actually kind of want it to overlap slightly. And we want the X to be at 0 in this case. So let's see how that looks. So 1.5. There we go. So we have a door. Cool. So I'm going to make this a slide into the wall door. So what'll happen is... Why is that not lined up perfectly? 6.6. Where did that happen? Let's type that in wrong. All right. So I want this door to be obscured when it opens, and so we're going to have it slide to the right or something. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a animation for this door sliding to the right. To be safe, I'm going to actually put this as a child. So we're going to create an empty game object. Actually, yeah, let's do this. Let's create an empty child here, and then we're going to just swap it from child to parent, which is really gross, but we're doing that. So what we're going to do now is now that the child is the parent, we're going to call this automatic door, and then we're going to call this the actual door geometry. And now we're going to create an animation on this thing. So I'm going to just hit record, and we're just going to call this door open anim. And we're going to, where is this? Yeah, let's just call it door open anim, and we're going to put it into a new folder that we don't have yet. We're going to call this 47 trigger doors. So we're going to call it door open. So now we've got door open and door geometry here. And our door open animation, since we're already in record mode, all we have to do is just, we're going to set it at 1 second. We're going to move it all the way to the right. So at 60 frames, we're going to move this over so that it comes out. I'm going to have it just slightly not flush with the wall, just so you can see that it's an open door, barely. You could make it flush if you wanted to. So now that I've done that, if we hit play, this should give us a door opening animation. Cool. So we're also going to need a door closing animation, which is going to be exactly the same but reverse. So I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this. I wonder if I can do it this way. I'm going to try it. So we're going to duplicate this animation, and we're going to save all, whatever it wants to do. We're going to call this door close. Does it automatically show up here? No, it doesn't. And the reason it doesn't is because we need to add it to our door geometry state machine. So if we double click door geometry here, we'll get up the animator interface. I'm going to make a door close animation clip. And so we're going to start it at door close, set as default. And we're going to make a transition to door open. We're going to make a transition to door close. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to do a trigger, and we're going to call it, actually let's do a bool. Bool door open. So if door's open, so we go to the transitions, we're going to change conditions to door open, true. And on this one, it's door open, false. So let's save scene. Oh yeah, I forgot to make a scene. So we're just going to call this trigger doors. Save all. And so now if we go to door close, we'll see the animation here. It should be exactly the same right now. So if we hit play, it just slides open. So we're going to make it exactly the opposite. We're just going to drag this over here, drag this one over here. And hopefully, when we're done, we'll have a door closing animation. Yay, it works. Cool. So we have everything we need to actually move this thing around. Now we just need a little script and a trigger. So we're going to create a trigger first. I'm going to create a empty child here. We're going to give it a collider. So component physics box collider. And if we look in the scene, it's going to be hard to see our collider here unless we make it a little bit bigger, I think. Or we're not going to be able to see it at all. Why can't we see it? Oh, there it is. Oh, I see. Okay, this is because our scaling's at the automatic door static point. I'm going to actually move the scaling down a level. So we're going to scale the door geometry up by 3.5. And then we're going to scale this down to 111. This will just save us a lot of headache. So now that we have that, now there we go. That's what I was expecting it to look like. So let's make this a little bit bigger. This is going to represent the area that the player can walk in where the door opens. So we actually want it to be a little bit bigger than the player is actually going to need, just so that it's useful. And the most important one is the depth here. We're going to make the depth deep enough so that it opens before you get to it. Let's do a depth of 6. Let's go ahead and even this out to 3 and 4.5. There we go. So we have a trigger area for our box. I'm going to set this as isTrigger. And I'm going to create a new script. We're going to call it trigger animation on set animation bool on trigger. is what we're going to do. So, did we actually call this a trigger yet? Oh, we did. Good. So we're going to call this a trigger. At some companies, you might hear this called a hotbox. It's the same concept. So, we're going to go to, set animation bool on trigger. We're going to double click this. And I hadn't opened up model develop. My apologies. Alright, so I'm going to create a couple of things here. So public string trigger name. Animation bool name. And I'm just not even going to set it as default. We're just going to do that. And public, there's no meaningful default we could put here. So what else do we need? We need the public game object, public animator target. And anything else we need. That's probably it. So, what we're going to do is, we're going to make it so if void on trigger enter. So if we get a trigger message, and we're not going to ask more information about that because we really just want to know if the player gets in there. So we'll set up our colliders to actually do that for us. We don't need to do any extra stuff, any extra code to detect here. So all we're going to do is on trigger enter is target dot set bool, and then we need an ID and a value or a name and a value. So we can just give it a name, and so the name will be animation bool name, and the value will be true in this case. And then we're going to duplicate this on trigger exit, and then we will set bool to false. There you go. So if we play this on our trigger, and then we name the, so what did we call our animation? If we go to door geometry, we called our transition door open. So we're going to go to our trigger, we're going to set the animation bool name to door open, and the target will be door geometry. And in theory, this might just work. So let's see what happens. So we hit play. Now, okay, so we got a couple problems already. So the door is broken. So if you want to create a cool door broken effect, we've done it. So I think the reason this is happening is door open and close are set to loop. We don't want either of them to loop. So let's hit play. All right, so let's see if it kind of works. All right, it's kind of working. So the reason it's broken, I think, is because remember we did that scaling thing? I think because I scaled it, it changed the amount that this thing needed to move. So let's go to the place that it ends here. Yeah, there's a problem. And let's, wait, so 0.99. All right, so this is door close. So door close, we want at 0.99, we're going to actually increase this to 3, it looks like. Let's do 2.9. Does that show enough of it? Oh, 29, that's not what I want. 2.9. 2.95. All right. So now that we got that, now we're going to go to door open and fix that as well. So this is the reason you want to fix your scaling issues as early as possible. 2.95. There we go. So let's stop recording, hit play. So we're still going to see the door close at the beginning, and I'll see if I can fix that, but it's not a huge deal if that's the case. There we go, we got an automatic door. So you go up to it, it opens, we go through it, it closes. If we get to it too fast, it will actually block us. It has proper geometry blocking and stuff. And if you had other entities that you didn't want to open the door, you could always set it up so that the collision matrix, we're not actually going to have to change it for this example, but we could set the collision matrix such that only certain things could open the door. Or you can just have it be natural. If a rat runs by and has a trigger, it'll automatically open that door. So that's kind of cool. So that's how you make a basic opening and closing door. Let's fix that last little bug if we can. So our problem here is when we start the game, the default state is door close, and it immediately plays the door close animation. So if we want to make it so that there is no animation at first, we're gonna have to create a initial state. I'm just gonna call it initial, and we're going to have this one not have an animation. We're gonna hit the default state, and we're going to make a transition to door close. Oh. Will this work? Okay, so we want to transition to door open when door open happens the first time. Let's try that. So we're just going to say door open, true. All right, cool. And then we'll just cycle between the others after that. So let's see if this works. So if we hit play, door's not moving, good. We go to it, door opens, good. We leave it, door closes. And so now if we look at the animator state, we'll see, well, if we look at the actual door geometry, we'll see this in door close forever until we move into it, in which case it is in door open, and it will never go back to the initial state. The initial state allows us to have it so that it doesn't play the animation at the start. So that solves our problem. I'm going to call that a wrap. Save all, save project. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, please email me, pushypixels@pushypixels.com. You can also tweet me at Drakfyre, that's Drakfyre. Hopefully everyone had a great holiday, or is still having a great holiday, and is excited about the new year. And I may or may not have an episode tonight. I'm not sure if I'm ready to do a full hour episode thing, but I will continue Breakfast with Unity even through, well, maybe not New Year's Day, but we'll see. If I can wake up on New Year's Day, we'll do it. But other than that, I will be doing Breakfast with Unity this week. So thank you very much for watching. You guys have a great one. And I'll catch you tomorrow at 9 a.m. if I don't catch you sooner.